Thank you very much. Could I just say to start with, when I started campaigning in New Hampshire in the year 2000, young people would come to the town hall meetings and stand up and say, what are you going to do about climate change? At that time, I knew very little about climate change. I went back to the Senate after I lost. By the way, after I lost in South Carolina to then Governor Bush, I slept like a baby. Sleep 2 hours, wake up and cry, sleep 2 hours. Anyway, and we began having hearings. And I began because I was chairman of the Congress Committee on Climate Change. And it's real, and it's there, and I believe in it, and I hope we can get beyond this debate as to whether it's real or not and start taking some action. And I'll try to be brief, but you bring up a very important issue. There's two aspects of the problem that's facing America. One is climate change and our need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions because of that, and the other is our dependency on foreign oil. Both of those coincide. My friends, about a year and a half ago, there was a suicide attack on a refinery in Saudi Arabia, and it failed, and I'm told that if that suicide attack had succeeded, oil would have gone to $150 a barrel. We are too dependent on foreign oil. I don't know what this guy in Venezuela is going to do, but I know he's a pretty nutty guy. And we're dependent on 8% of our oil supply from Venezuela. So, and so we've got, there should be the confluence of two major issues here. Reducing our greenhouse gas emissions and reducing our dependence on foreign oil. Now I'm going to say something you probably don't like to hear. I believe that if you're seriously going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and reduce our dependency on foreign oil and coal, then you've got to go back to nuclear power. And nuclear power I see that please some people and not you, but I'll give you back the microphone. Hang on one second if I could, very briefly. And we need to ethanol. When I'm in Iowa, I have a glass of ethanol every morning before breakfast. Ethanol is a viable alternative. The Brazilians have been able, as you know, their entire automobile fleet is now E85 ethanol. But it should be also sugarcane, switchgrass, biofuels, all of those things, not just corn-based ethanol. By the way, I still don't support subsidies for ethanol. I don't think they need it. And so we have to devote our best energies to green technologies. And before you respond, let me just put it to you this way. Suppose that climate change is not real, that we are wrong, that greenhouse gas emissions are not affecting our climate, and we do take measures that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, adoption of green technologies. Suppose we do that, and we're wrong about climate change. All we have done is handed our kids a cleaner planet. But suppose we are right and do nothing about climate change. Suppose we are right and do nothing. Then what kind of a future are we going to give our kids and our grandkids? And I wish we could approach that issue. I appreciate the debate, I appreciate the discussion, but I think the time to act is now. And I'm proud of the state of New Hampshire that so many towns and authorities in the state adopted this resolution on climate change. Please respond.
Yes, I also want to, is this happening? Okay. I also am interested in handing off a good, clean planet to our children, and so I think it behooves all of us, and I hope you as possible president included, to really stress the need for renewable resources, but also for we as individuals to decrease our desire for as much fuel as we are now desiring. Our son Peter Moore is working on a film right now, National Sacrifice Zone. They're digging up oil shale in the full cliffs of Colorado, and you're probably aware of that. How can we prevent a disaster of that nature occurring not only in Colorado, but things in Alaska? How can we, and how could you, and how would you, make people think about how they are using resources and increase the use of renewable resources?
Well, one way is to encourage technology. We are now seeing an increase in production of hybrid cars, both domestic and foreign production. Another way is to get the attention of the American people. The strength of the presidency of the United States is not that the president can pass laws. The president can't. The president can only sign laws or veto laws. The strength of the presidency of the United States is the bully pulpit. And you have the trust and confidence of the American people, and you look them in the eye and you say, my friends, we're going to have to adopt these methods in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and give our kids a cleaner planet. They will respond in the affirmative. And I don't think we have to ask a great deal of sacrifice from the American people. We're the most innovative, most productive nation on earth, and we can develop the technologies. General Electric, 4 years ago, dedicated themselves to green technologies. They're still making lots of profit. We can do it by providing the proper incentives necessary to do so. Thank you for the question, and thank you for your commitment to this issue. And I believe more and more Americans are beginning to share your view. The man on your right, real quick, and then